resident creative response, Mr. Todd McFarlane is here as well. So I'll kick it off. Todd, do you want to say anything?
No, just thanks for showing up. Thanks for hanging through the pandemic. Everybody went through the same thing. All of a sudden, it ate a few years of our life. Couldn't geek out together. So it's nice to get back to some of these shows and see faces and have a good time. So we're going to show you some cool stuff. Hopefully we can go through it pretty quickly. Leave a few minutes for questions. And then once the questions come up, don't be shy. You can go outside of the box of toys if you have any other questions about anything else in my life. Feel free to ask. So we'll get it going. Brian, you go and do it. By the way, too, Jim is the one. If you guys like a lot of the DC multiverse stuff, Jim is the one that curates that over at Warner Brothers. So he's the one to make sure that we stay on the straight and narrow and gives us a lot of great suggestions. And we've got a lot of stuff coming through the pipeline. Jim and I talk all the time. Brian, go ahead.
Okay, so we have over 30 figures to reveal today, figures or statues. So we brought some stuff, and thanks again for coming in the rain. This is not very Southern California today. We're gonna kick it off though. Opening day was just the other day for baseball, so McFarlane Toys is bringing back baseball figures. We've got some in front of Todd there. So wave one comes out in spring. Todd, do you want to speak to a couple of these? They all come with chases, like Bose PVC figures.
Yeah, I don't know, for some of you, some of the old timers out there, we did sports for 10, 15 years before we walked away from it for a bit. We're coming back into it. I mean, I'm a sports nut, so it's nice to get back into it. The upside was when we were doing it, it seemed like we were repeating a lot of the same people in the same sports because they were the popular ones. You take a little bit of time off, there's this whole wave now of this new generation of stars that are out there, right? That we can now do going, man, we've never done Patrick Mahomes. We've never done, Alvarez here. We've never done Aaron Judge. We get to go and do all these players now that have won the award. So pretty exciting to get back into my personal favorite of sport. So.
And you've played some ball. Is there going to be a figure of you in here, I assume?
No, I wasn't very good. But I did play. Look, I know Robert Kirkman hates it when I say it because you say it every time, whenever you're panel. I did play at a high level. I played back baseball when I was younger. And so I was trained. I always thought, ladies and gentlemen, that my ideal life was going to be that I'd get to play in the minors, play baseball at night, but do comic books by day. Right? While my buddies were sleeping or going to the strip bars, I would be doing my comic books and then going and playing. But it didn't quite work out. I ended up going into comic books full time. So.
Mine worked out okay though.
Yeah, that did okay.
So wave one launches in May. Obviously, Guerrero, Bryce Harper, Alvarez, as Todd said, they all come with chase figures with their alternate uniforms, which is really cool as well, and that Packer card with kind of great photos of the characters as well. I almost said superheroes. Some of them are superheroes. So we're going to jump ahead to legacy, great legacy line here with McFarlane Toys. We have Movie Maniacs. So I'll just knock out the first slide. We revealed these about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. The Fallout TV show on Amazon Prime is coming. Launches on April 12th on Amazon Prime. And as you can see, we've got the main characters of Maximus, the Ghoul, Lucy, and Malfoy, which is obviously like the mascot of but we worked with the filmmakers and the showrunners to get these figures spot on. So very cool to see those coming again April 12th.
And here's what I'll add to this too. 2024 is the 30th anniversary of McFarlane Toys, right? 30 years ago that we started. We're all getting old, folks. But one of the things we want to do as part of that celebration was to lean back on some of the brands of some of you old-time collectors that basically knew some of those brands. One of them obviously was Movie Maniac, who was one of the ones that put us on the map at the very beginning. And so we wanted to come back to do some of those. Once we get through some of the commitments we have to do with some of our contracts, and we'll lean even more into the monster horror that basically was the basis of that sort of title, the Movie Maniacs, when we started it, and a couple of the other brands we're going to talk to you about here a little bit later. So just sort of doing a little bit of tip our hat to what helped put us on the map 30 years ago, and sort of bring it out to hopefully a new generation from the figures.
A new license for us, the Rocky universe will be joining Movie Maniacs as well. So it's got all the three right there in box. So we'll have Rocky 1 all the way through to some of the newer films. So look for that over the course of the next year and a half in Movie Maniacs to see some of those films. We've got a comedy wave here, so we use Maniac loosely around here. So 40-Year-Old Virgin, Big Lebowski, the dude, and then David Wooderson from Dazed and Confused, Matthew McConaughey there. So look for those as well.
Yeah, again, when we had an internal conversation about what the definition of maniac meant, we broadened it pretty wide. I'd put all three of these guys in that category right here.
And then from our friends at Warner Brothers, the Matrix trilogy will be diving into, actually it's more than 3 films now, but Neo and Trinity from the first Matrix.
Yeah, so we did those when the movie first came out, right? The Matrix sort of blew all of us away. We get to come back and nod our head to tried and true brand that basically changed a lot of the visuals in Hollywood for it. So.
I'm going to jump ahead now to the #1 action figure line of 2021, DC Multiverse. So you've got...
I want to jump on that, right? So I don't know if you guys just heard what he just said. In 2021, in the middle of the pandemic, we don't even have the full master toy license from DC. We have a sliver of it. And within that sliver, the DC Multiverse line that we did outsold, because they take retail data every time the company that basically covers all this, when you scan something, they count it. And in 2021, the DC Multiverse, thanks to you good people, was the #1 selling line. It's outsold Marvel, it outsold Transformers, it outsold G.I. Joe, Star Wars. It was the DC Multiverse. And again, at a time when everybody was hunkering down, again, there wasn't a lot of big movies coming in that were driving stuff. So we had an opening, and we basically did as good as we can. We got to the top of the hill against some big Fortune 500 companies. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you all. It's amazing.
So we've got some figures that are hitting shelves very soon. So first appearance Batman, you've seen some of these, the Azrael Batman from Night's End, and then a black and gray version of Nightfall. But some new figures that Jim's going to take us through on the next slide. Jim, you can see it there in front of you.
Ambush Bug. What else is there to say? Not only Ambush Bug, but the fact he comes with Cheeks the Wonder Toys. I don't know why the presentation's done, right? That's it. That's the end of the battle. So there's some great stuff coming. You got Mr. Cool, Mr. Freeze there, and that new version of Mr. Gold, and Tim Drake Robin. I mean, what's been great about working with this team is they're not afraid to go in there deep and really support, the fan base. We don't get to see a lot of these figures a lot of the time when we do this conversation. Yeah. But you're going to see some really cool stuff coming. It's a great mix of characters that are, we consider A-list characters, and then, people like this. So I get a shout out for Ambush Bug in the meantime.
So here's I know people are constantly asking us, like, how do you come up with your characters? They have a lot of suggestions. And here's sort of how it goes a little bit. And it's not really overly complicated. We have to do the core figures on an ongoing basis, right? And I know it's interesting. Every now and then I'll get somebody to go, are you doing a lot of Batmans? Yes. You know why? Because every day there's a Batman fan, right? And somebody says, well, didn't you do a Batman in January? Well, if that fan didn't go into the stores in January, you're saying he's not a Batman fan in February, March, and April? Of course he is, right? So we have to have the core figures almost on a 365. They're the evergreen. So they will always be there, because if it's not from the people who just like the brand, it's from moms and kids that are basically buying gifts or Christmas or whatever. I mean, you got Easter, you got something you can give away. Then there's the other part, which is some of the figures you see here. Can we sneak in enough of the sort of down the stream characters that we know aren't going to do a giant business overall, but can we make just enough so that we can get them out sometimes for the very first time.
Yeah.
I look at them as a sports guy. I don't know if this makes sense to all of you guys, but the most valuable card for all the superstars of sports is the rookie card, right? You get the rookie card of any baseball player, that's going to be their most expensive one. I sort of look at some of these characters as that, right? If nobody's made them before or put them in that costume, this is essentially the first time you can get your hands on it. This is the rookie card, right? You can, look, we can all go on eBay and we can get Batman going back 40, 50 years, right? So I'm not going to do anything there. But all of a sudden somebody comes along like the Joker, the Batman Who Laughs, that's a new character. And a new character that's getting made in the DC universe or in a movie, we get to make it for the first time. It's a big deal. I think it's actually part of the reason that our line has succeeded as much as it is, because we've been diving into these A, B, C, and even to sometimes D characters all the way around. You look at, I don't expect anybody never have to basically buy everything that we do. I've always said that I'm in the buffet business. And in the buffet, you put out all this food and we let you, the consumer, come across and you put on your plate what you enjoy.
Stay hungry.
Yeah, that's it. So you just put what you want and walk by all the rest of it. But there's a big variety of appetites out there. So these figures that you see up on the screen are just an example of those kinds of ones that are there. So hopefully some of them will be of interest to you that collect the DC multiverse out there.
So as Ambush Books rookie card, you're suggesting we should probably get a lot of these. They're going to be worth the most of any of these other figures. So
okay, here's the fun of again, he's a big green guy, right? So again, he doesn't have the complicated, but look, he's got his little teddy, right? He's got a little teddy in his arm. That's the cool piece to me, right? Yeah. The prop on him is pretty cool. Yeah, the Toy Wonder.
We've got a wave of exclusives at some various retailers that we want to highlight here. So Nightwing from DC vs. Vampires, a very popular story arc in DC. That's at Walmart, along with Wally West. The Rival, along with Sandra Kane back row. First time we're getting Sandra Kane in the lineup. Those two will be Target. And then Power Ranger Kilowog. I know there's a lot of people trying to complete the Green Lantern universe, Green Lantern Corps. There's 3,000 figures to go, I think. But Power Ranger and Kilowog in a 2-pack for Amazon. That's up for pre-order now, so you can go track those down.
That's a lot of rookie cards, Brian.
Yeah, it's a lot of rookie cards. That's our very first. Everybody on that slide except for Kyle, I think, is the first appearance in the multiverse line.
Look at here, just so everybody knows, the contract we have with DC allows us to do anything from basically 1936 up, especially on the comic book front. So you can imagine with over 70 years of characters, we will never get even close to getting deep into that vault, right? So even though people go, man, why are you making that character? There are so many others. So that's the upside. We get to try and pick these cherries, if you will, bring them out and have a good time with it. But we could go on and on literally for decades. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we will.
Approved.
3 characters just approved by Jim, as a matter of fact. So now these are going to be chase figures, so they're going to be extremely rare and only at your brick and mortar stores. So you'll have to go in store to find these. But Manhunter, Reverse Flash, the New 52, and the Deep Cut Link Sportsmaster. These are all going to be platinum editions. So if you're in that collector hunt, these are for you to kind of go after straight away. So,
is he there for all the sports analogies we've been talking about? Is that the,
what's that, sorry?
is he there for the sports analogy?
Yeah, exactly. Up for pre-order right now is a great 90s wave and the first appearance of Plastic Man in our line. So you can look for this. He comes with various different parts that make him all stretchy and full Plastic Man form here. But you collect all 4, and then you can build Plastic Man. These will be hitting shelves in just a couple of weeks here. So I'm excited about that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Brian. I think when you build Plastic Man, you also get normal arms,
right?
And 2 different heads. So you can have, and again, like this one doesn't have. If you can see up on the screen, he's got that long neck, right? So you can either do the stretchy version of him, or you can basically take all the pieces off and on because they pop in and out, right? And then you can put the normal ones on it. So you not only do you get a builder figure, but you also get a variation of that Build-A-Figure. You can make him stretching or non-stretching. So he's, again, pretty funky, cool guy right here. So.
And actually made of plastic, so pretty accurate.
Yeah.
We've been diving into the legacy movies in DC. I'm going to have Jim tell you which the next one is. We've done Batman and Robin, we've done the Dark Knight trilogy, but we've got one from the mid-90s that I think everybody's going to be happy about. Jim, what could it be?
Could it be Batman? Forever. So good. I don't have to So yeah, we finally got Val Kilmer, Chris O'Donnell. I mean, these toys, I think people have been looking forward for a long time. I mean, the Tommy Lee Jones, the Riddler there is just amazing. I mean, you guys did a great job with the details on these. We were really happy to see these when they came in. So hope you guys are excited as we are to see these because they're really, really cool looking.
Yeah, we got a really big response when we were at Toy Fair and retail of our last Batman movie line, right? Where we had the Build-A-Figure with Arnold Schwarzenegger and, you know, Mr. Freeze, I think Poison Ivy was in that one, and Batgirl, and Robin and Batman. That was a George Clooney Batman,
yep.
Right? And people really, which is interesting, this many years later, are like, oh, I think there's a group of you out there that are now trying to collect like the Batman movie characters. And so whether you are giant fans of the characters and or the movie itself, it seems to be a group of you that want to have some kind of remnant from each one of those movies. So we're trying to make sure that we deliver on all of that.
I am in that group.
Yeah.
There is a Build-A-Figure here, obviously, so it's the Nightmare Man
So cool.
from those Nightmare sequels. So great creature for us to.
Yeah, that looks amazing. That is such a cool addition to that collection, and that was a great choice. Build-A-Figure.
Like we said a moment ago, we've been building out the Dark Knight, Christian Bale, Christopher Nolan Batman universe over the past probably year and a half. You can see the full slate of figures and vehicle that we've released, but there's one noticeable accessory that we have not gotten to yet. Jim, do you want to tell us which one?
Well, you know, I wish I had that when we were driving here this morning, because in the rain we could have used maybe something like the tumbler. Keeps the rain up. It's great to see that addition come into the line. It's a complicated vehicle to make all the little pieces and stuff, but it's how can this happen?
And this will come with a figure as well, much like we did with the Catwoman Bat Pod.
It's got to come with the guy in
And Lucius Fox, the creator of Batmobile. All the Morgan Freeman things.
Yeah, so let me talk to you about like the 30 years. When we first got into toys, and I don't know if you guys remember, that you would, in most toy stores, we'd have the figures here, some of the small ones here, and then you had the boxes down below. That was like the headquarters and the vehicles and stuff. The retailers, probably about 10, 12 years ago, got away from the big boxes. They didn't want the high-end price stuff. Maybe at Christmas. They go, maybe at Christmas we'll take something. But they got scared for the first 9 months of the year of getting anything over that $25, $30 range. In that 30 years came this thing called the internet that now allows us to go to different people, you know, again, Amazon being one of the big ones, but plenty of other people, and we do it ourselves. We actually have a website ourselves that now allow us to get the vehicles back into circulation again, where before, the vehicles and headquarters, for some of you that have been collecting for a while, you saw that it got harder and harder and harder to not only collect it, because people weren't even making it, because the retailers were not buying it. And now we have a back door, so now we can do the vehicles. And so far, especially with a lot of the Batman vehicles in the movies, we've almost got a complete sellout out of most of the vehicles we've done in the last 3-4 years.
Look at me.
That's a 2-seater car, so you can fit 2 figures in there. But we don't have a shot of it with those. That's a cool feature as well.
It's big and beefy. I've seen it, big and beefy. Make sure you got a lot of shelf space.
Yeah. Clear out all the other licensed properties. Just put this one in.
We've been having a lot of fun in McFarlane Collector Edition. This line allows us to go a little deeper with the character selection. There's 3 characters here that you guys have been screaming for. One in particular is a Teen Titan member that was not included in the Build-A-Figure wave a little while back. So look for Starfire, Captain Boomerang, and then a classic penguin in the lineup here.
There it is.
And then Jim, you want to take us to the next slide, which has some key characters.
Yeah, so this is Morgan. Like Todd was saying earlier, it's really fun to dig in and get to some characters, or even new looks of characters. Like Batman. This is another Batman, loosely based on the Hero Colada version of Batman that was out a while ago. But Sergeant Rock's pretty exciting. I can't think of the last time we had that figure out there. That was a really cool piece to get in there. Connor Kent is in there as well. But Sergeant Rock being really cool. That's part of this assortment, because that's something we haven't seen.
The interesting conversation with Sergeant Rock is, look, I've been dealing with corporations for 30 years, and they each have their own agendas, and I don't argue with their agendas. They make their billions of dollars. They have to protect their billions of dollars, and they have to do what they think is right. So the conversation, the reason it took us so long to get Sergeant Rock is, we're at this point where they don't like us to put guns in with the toys. So we keep having these conversations of, I get it for that guy and that guy and that guy. But Sergeant Rock, how do I do Sergeant Rock if he doesn't have a military gun, right? To me, it's just an army figure, essentially.
It's been a great panel, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. But again, as time's gone by, then the doors have slowly opened up, and there are now different ways for us to start to introduce different props that are appropriate for the right characters, as long as they're sort of labeled the right way, doing whatever else, because again, everybody sort of came to conversation that maybe there was a bit of an overcorrection there. And Sergeant Rock sort of was, to me, the leading guy in most of my conversations of, like, we have to be able to do something with him. So we'll have variations on some of these that will and won't have certain props, and they'll be sold in different places with different labels and whatever else, but pay attention to some of those nuances that are out there in the open market.
We're going to jump over to digital collectibles, still 7-inch figures within the DC multiverse, but we have a physical digital, or Phygital is what everyone's calling it, product coming down the pipe. McFarlane Toys McFarlane Toys Digital launched over the last year. A quick intro video that kind of showcases what goes on in that space, and then we'll get to the figures.
Digital for a bit. It seems to be a conversation that people have a strong opinion about, right? Cool. My words of advice to anybody for 30 years, 40 years have been in the industry has always been the same. Whether you like what I do or you don't like what I do, my answer to anybody that doesn't like what I do is the same. Spend your time and your money on things you enjoy. Simple. Right? I don't know why people spend so much time talking about things they don't like and writing an article about things they don't like. Just spend your time and money on things you like. It's a way cooler day. It's a way cooler day. Here's the thing about digital. Here's the thing about digital. And it's a piece that because I do some stuff sort of in the NFT digital art space, I call it. People don't understand a little bit that the world's a big place, and here's why digital matters to some people. I mean, there's speculators, okay, fine, but there's also two groups of people I don't think that most people give heed to. One is, there are people who live in countries and islands that are across the world that it costs $25 to buy that toy, but it costs nearly $120 to ship it. $120 to ship it. That's 4 times the cost of your actual figure. And so they can't and they won't, they don't have the funds. You can imagine they're off in a place, they just go, I can't do it. So they have 2 choices, ladies and gentlemen. They can either just go, well, I guess I'm not going to be part of the party, or you have to give them an option. And the option is, well, you can get it digitally. And then you don't have to pay the $130. Not as good for us that like to be able to have it on our shelf, but it's there, and now they get to still be part of the party. They get to be geeks, right? Nothing wrong with being geeks. Everybody here is one, but like, to me, open up the door. The other one that seems even odder is that if you live in Tokyo and you're a young person, you can't afford a house. And if you've been to Tokyo in certain places, your house is about 400 square feet. You can't even put that toy hardly in your room. Because if you get too many of those, you're going to have to live without a refrigerator. Because that's taken up about a quarter of it. So they then can't have a bunch of toys like we can. So they're out of the party. Unless you give it to them digitally. Right? And so their options are, if I can have nothing, or I can have digital, I'll take digital, which is better than nothing. And here's the thing that's weird. My wife does this to me too, because she doesn't get it. She's like, why does everybody not want something? Why does everybody not want something? It's not in their hands, it's not physical. Why would anybody, it's not there, right? Here's the reality. For everybody who says that, and that's mostly old people, you're all doing it. You're all doing it anyways. It's weird to me that you're doing something, yet you're surprised that other people are doing it. So here's how I know you're doing it. Pull out your phone, go to your gallery, and show me a picture of your grandkid or your son. Now here's what I'll say. That's not your fucking real baby either. It's a digital image of your real baby or son or wife. But when you look at it, it puts a smile on your face and it gives you joy. So why can't you transfer that to toys? The answer is you can, right? Just stop it, right? At some level, let people, I don't mind if you don't want to collect what I have, just step out of the side and let people who like it at the buffet, just put it on their plate. If you don't like broccoli at the grocery store, walk on by it. Just walk on by it and put in the vegetables you like. But I never see anybody at the grocery store ever stop, go get the manager, tell them to come back and go, how dare you have that broccoli? I don't like it. I personally don't like it. Friends have told me it's not very good. I don't want my kids consuming it. I don't even want it. No, you just walk by. I think everything you consume should be like vegetables at the grocery store. Walk on by if you don't like it. But here's what I don't do, ladies and gentlemen. I hate Brussels sprouts. And here's what I don't do. I don't go to BrusselsSprouts.com and go, fuck, I hate this shit. Right? I just don't eat it. I don't take it. I don't put it in my thing. I don't go to any sites about Brussels sprouts, and I just consume it. I buy what I like, and I take and I spend money on things I like, and let the Brussels sprout people do their thing, right? So if you like
BrusselsSprouts.com right now.
oh, that's, I'm under an alien.
Wait, are you real?
I'm broccoli man.
Are you?
Anyways, so the digital gives you an option to vote. For $24.95, it's just a mindset. Either say, oh man, I'm getting a toy, and they're giving me a free digital. Super cool. Or, if you like the digital space, you're going, wow, I'm getting a digital for $24, which is about the going price, and they're throwing a free toy into it. I don't care how you get there, right? We did it with our Kickstarter toy with Spawn. We had the comic book in there. Either assume you're getting the comic book for $40 and I'm throwing the figure in, or you're getting the figure and I'm throwing a free comic book. I don't care how you get there mentally. Some of you like both, that's okay, but the digital space, it's a real arena, and it's not going away. It's not going away right. As a matter of fact, I believe a couple days ago, for a short period of time, Bitcoin hit an all-time high, right? It hit an all-time high. So it's not going away.
I just want to say this is the only panel you'll be able to go to where you'll hear about Todd's vegetable eating habits as well as the classics. So we know this. I had no idea.
Wait till I get to dessert.
That's why we're all here.
The construct Green Lantern has.
Go.
They look like Brussels sprouts.
Nice tie-in.
Back to you, Ron.
Okay. So what we're doing with McFarlane Toys Digital, we're recreating the Build-A-Figure approach, but in the digital space. So if you buy these 3 figures at your favorite store, Green Arrow Longbow Hunter, I think, is the biggest reveal here, which is kind of cool. collectible. You can then build a digital collectible for free, so you'll get the green arrow, for example, digital collectible in the digital space. And if you buy all three, you link all three codes together, you'll be able to have Animal Man digital collectible in the digital space. So we're trying to recreate the Build-A-Figure in the NFT digital space as well.
You saw in that video real quickly, you can go to a room and literally all the things you collect, you can put them in a room and you can display them any way you want, right? So
I've got emotional about too.
yeah. Oh yeah, like some of them actually have animation and stuff on it that other people don't allow. Again, I've seen, we've done contests where people show us their collections digitally, and some of them are pretty impressive, just like people who show us their collections physically are impressive.
Plus, what you said about the space, you've got an endless room. Like you can put collections in there. Digital space is just endless.
That kid in Tokyo can now have 1,000 figures in his 400 square foot house, and he doesn't crowd anything, right? It's just like having pictures on your phone.
More collectibles to fill your space. So DC Superpowers, our retro line here that plays off the toy line from the 80s. It's the 40th anniversary of Superpowers, so we're including gold figures as chases. So you're seeing Superman there, but also Kilowog, Blue Beetle, and then we have two great vehicles which Todd has right in front of him. The first one being the Skull Ship.
That's not the Skull Ship.
That's the Bug Ship.
The first one is this.
You gave me the wrong one.
Sorry.
So super cool vehicle there for Brainiac.
Yeah, look, we've got Brainiac. Look at these things. These things are so simple, they're kind of cool, right? Now, let me also say that I came into this industry years ago, 30 years ago, going, how simple are these toys? I can make better looking toys than that. Now, I'm making simple toys, right?
Yeah, back to square one.
Every time I see one, there's a little bit of a wince. I have a little bit of a wince going, man, that's why I started the company. But now we're going retro, we're going nostalgia, that's the play. These ones right here, I wish that the boxes showed how cool some of these vehicles are. So like this one here, it's got the legs on it here, but when you roll it along the ground, all the legs move, right? There's a mechanism on here where the legs move. Yeah. You're not going to be able to see it though. You're not going to be able to see it there, right?
I'm so relaxed.
Anyways, it's cool. We try to do like something kind of cool and silly on it. But the Brainiac figure too. This is a classic one from when I was collecting, when I was in my geek years when I was 15, 16. Oh yeah, no, we haven't got to that one. Is that another?
Yeah, that's the Bug Ship for Blue Beetle. Is right here. There you go.
Yeah, right here. Now look at this one here. You hold this for a second. This one has.
You put your character. Hand home. There it is. Yeah, you can retract this thing with a little thing down there.
Anyway, all and the legs sort of move a little bit. So all these things, although they look pretty super simple, they still have like that toyetic thing that was out there when we were all sort of buying toys when we were younger. And they fit a couple. This one fits a couple.
Yeah,
a couple figures in there too. Yeah.
So we're going to go from the most approachable price point to one of the higher price points. We also do resin statues, obviously.
Wait, where's the Dark Side Tower of Darkness that never got produced? Aren't you going to make that?
Yes, we have it high up on our list. No, we do.
Jason's shaking his head. We have resin statues, so Batman Black and White, over 100 statues. Todd statues was number 100 in this line. Jim art directed many of them as well. But we finally got the Bill Sienkiewicz's great take on Batman there, a super cool take. We have the Joker by Carr Andrews from the Black Label book, Joker Killer Smile. And then we have J. Scott Campbell's great iteration of Zatanna there. So lots more resin statues coming from DC Direct here. But we were really building on the success of the early J. Scott Campbell statues. This is rolling forward as you see the great work J. Scott's been doing in the designs here.
He's been a great partner on this stuff. I know you guys go way back, but he's giving us great turnarounds for these things. And this was in the making for like, what, Brian, you were 6 years before we got these out, but with McFarlane coming on board, these are amazing.
Yeah, when I talk to him, I call him Scott. So J. Scott Campbell did these designs that didn't get made when sort of DC Direct were coming there. And so I phoned up Scott and went, hey, they just gave me these designs. We'd like to make them, but would you basically give us any pointers, or can we send these sculpts to you and you make the notes? Just like when I'm basically doing my own toys, we'll let you basically give us all the notes, and if you're satisfied with it, then I'm sure your fan base will be satisfied with it, and everybody else will. And these are some of the results of his drawing and the notes that he gave us. And we just, once he was satisfied, we just passed it along in DC, and everybody else has approved it super quick.
The team of the sculptors you've got, stuff's amazing. And these are just, they're just like drawings. They're really cool. I know he's really happy with them. We won a new pot award last year when we revealed some. I don't think we're revealing any more today, are we?
No, not today.
Sorry.
We have more food.
We have more coming.
Scott did a bunch of them for us.
Yeah.
Okay, long-running, beloved animated series. So the DC Direct figures, which have been a huge hit. We're doing these as Build-A-Figures now, where we're introducing new characters to the Legacy DC Direct line. Jim, do you want to take us through the next wave of characters?
These are these are going to be associated, right, Brian?
Correct.
Some of these were out before at DC Direct, and these are the new ones that are going to be associated versions of them. One of my personal favorites here is Hardak. I always love that design. I thought it was cool. Phantasm's another big ask we've had, and Bane and Ivy. I mean, these are great. There's so many of these. Again, this is a big universe. There's so many of these to get through, but here's what we got coming out right now.
And the Build-A-Figure is one of those.
He's finally here. But pending licensor approval, I guess that's good, right? Okay. So yes, that is going to happen, and we're pretty excited to get Bruce Wayne out there.
And then it's been a long road. This vehicle was revealed just the other day, but the Joker mobile has been in development a long time. 4
years. Look, so Brian, we were talking about this the other day. This is four times. This is finally coming out, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Really, it's a big car. It's really cool. And I'd say it looks better than the first one we did. The lights in there are awesome. So I'm super excited about this.
Okay, we just revealed this as well. Music Maniacs is a kind of spin-off of Movie Maniacs. So these are articulated figures, and we are jumping right into the heavy metal universe here. So we revealed Ozzy Osbourne, Alice Cooper, but Eddie from Iron Maiden and Rob Zombie are also part of this wave. So Todd's got one there in the box. But full articulated figures here.
Yeah. Some of the other ones we did years ago, for some of you that bought some of the music figures, most of those were just posed. There wasn't a lot of articulation in it. We decided to go in a different direction here, so you guys could sort of do whatever you wanted with it. We not only are we going back to some of the classics that we did, but we've recently signed some new acts for the new generation. So we've been making those announcements here in the next 2-3 months. Brian got just literally this week, 2 of the contracts got signed off. And then we've got Ozzy over there, right? I had the pleasure doing Ozzy's last music video before he moved back to London for a variety of reasons, but he jumped on board and said, yeah, come on, let's do it. Oh, I'll give you a side note going back. I'm going to digress a moment. Years ago, we did Ozzy. I don't know if you guys remember. He was standing there. You could get the little bat and put it in his mouth and whatever else. And that dude, if you guys look at that toy, if not, go on Google and look at it. McFarlane Toys, Ozzy Osbourne. He looked like a Greek god, right? He looked like a Greek god. Now, he doesn't really look like that. So how did we get there?
Yes.
This is easy. We had to get Sharon, his wife, Sharon Osbourne, to approve it. And she kept going, is there any way you could get rid of his love handles? Yeah, sure. Is there any way you could give him a little bit of a six-pack? Yeah, sure. Is there any way you could buff up his chest? So we were literally doing plastic surgery with this figure the whole time. And then finally she was like, yeah, I'll approve that. And he looked like Fabio at that point. He was good. He was like a blow-up sex toy at that point. She was like, I signed off on that one. On this go-around, they went, okay, he's a little long in the tooth. We don't have to quite make him Arnold Schwarzenegger. But look, it's interesting the comments you get back, right? We did a toy hopefully I'm not speaking out of school here, but we did a toy with Dwayne Johnson on Black Adam. Now, if you look at Dwayne Johnson Black Adam and you look at his costume, I always thought that the costume was so thick it actually took away from his muscle structure, right? And it took away from it, I thought, because that guy is buff, right? So, but sometimes you have to get the actors to sign off. So when we sent our Black Adam figure to Dwayne himself, he only had one comment. Todd, can you make me more ripped?
Yep, that's what it said.
Yeah, I will. I'll do whatever you want. And I'll do whatever you want, but that's not the costume book. It's okay. So if you actually look at our toys, we actually added a little bit more in this area that is actually in the costume because Dwayne didn't want to look like a badass. So anyway.
Dwayne Johnson versus Ozzy.
Last but not least, I was going to speak into this. Our 30th anniversary year 2024, we're going to be celebrating this primarily through the Spawn action figure line, although we've brought back legacy lines like Movie Maniacs, etc., and sports lines. But we've got a number of statues and figures, a lot of which have been kind of put up for pre-order, but we've got Spawn Wings of Redemption. This is a digital collectible as well, where you can redeem the digital version there. We've got Spawn from the cover of 95 here as a 12-inch pose, not 7-inch, 12-inch pose figure. And then some of the digitally remastered is what we're calling them. We took some of the most successful, popular iterations of Spawn action figures and redid them as if they were done today. So these are all up for pre-order now.
Yeah. So again, one of the things we were doing leading back on the 30-year anniversary is let's go back to some of the ones that sold out, that were hot, that we constantly get demand for, come back, do a new version of them. If you have the old one, these are not those molds. We've actually resculpted and recut molds, so you will see some of the differences if you actually have them side by side. And then the one that you see off on the right, that's actually, we never made this figure, that's based on the cover that I did. The unfortunate passing of Chadwick Osman, that I thought it would be apropos that Al Simmons, an African American, would sort of pay his tributes to the guy who played Black Panther. Anyways, that cover ended up garnering a lot of attention, so we thought we'd put it in 3D form here for the very first time.
We have a couple of minutes left, but I just want to say that there's also the greatest two-pack of all time.
Yes!
Todd figure along with your high school iteration.
Yeah, right. So here, this two-pack, just so you guys are looking at, go on. It's not Spawn and Blobby. I created Spawn when I was 16. When I was just started collecting, and I just started getting into comic books. And so besides going, man, this would be cool if I start learning how to draw a superhero comic book, I created my own characters. That one of them, guy who was my favorite of all of them, was Spawn. That drawing you see there is when I was 16 years old. That was my Spawn that I drew. You can see the difference. He's got a buckle belt, right? His boots are flaps. You know, again, there's a lot of things that didn't ever make the mark when we came back in 1992 and started Image Comic Book. So we thought it would be sort of goofy fun to have a figure of me. I've only done two, right? The first one was when I did a bum figure of me from the movie, when I did my cameo like Stanley. But one of the props you get in this two-pack is me holding a drawing of that drawing. So there's a little version of it. There's a little version of that drawing that I have, and I got a microphone. And it's the drawing of what Spawn originally looked like in my 16-year-old brain. And that's why that toy looks like, it didn't even have green eyes, it got yellow eyes, because that's why I colored it back then. But that's a big nostalgia play here, or a little bit of sort of history for some of you super geeks. And oh, by the way, they added, without asking me, I do walk around the office a lot without my shoes, right? So you get bare feet at the bottom. So if you want to actually be authentic, it would be me in bare feet on top of it.
The comments on his abs on this, ladies and gentlemen, was out of control. We just couldn't get him to approve it.
Toughest like this. Yeah, we've got to wrap it up here. Do we have time for just a couple questions, 2 or 3? Yeah, so we'll take a couple questions real quick.
Yeah,
I'll be quick. My son has a question. I just wanted to say, Todd, really quick, Thank you for making Where the Wild Things Are toys. I think it's the finest line of toys ever made. Thank you for Yellow Submarine. Thank you for Bob and Doug McKenzie. And thank you for making the kind of toys no other company would. It's so special for the fans that love them.
I'll give a quick, see if I can go through real quick. When I was doing the Where the Wild Things Were, I was on the phone with Maurice Sendet. He's the artist, author of that book. And when I was on the phone with him, I said, hey, Maurice, I only want to do these toys if I can do that cool cross-hatching artwork that you do. And he said, no. And I'm like, what? No, I'm going to do the cross-hatch. He said, no. I'm like, Maurice, he goes, nobody's ever been able to do it, Todd. It's not going to work, so forget it. And then I got a little bit mad, and I'm like, Maurice, if I can't do your damn artwork, then I don't want to do your damn toys, right? And he looked at me, and he sort of laughed. And he sort of stormed out. The very next day, he phones me back, and he went, Todd, nobody's ever talked back to me, ever. He goes, that's super cool. If you think you can pull it off, I'll let you try. And then when he saw the final version with the cross-hatching and the wash on it, he was blown away. He was to the point that he went, why haven't other people been doing this for the last 10, 15 years? So sometimes it's nice to be able to do something a little bit different than anybody else. So, yes?
Is there any major characters that you want to make figures of, but you haven't gotten a chance to do it yet?
But I've always said before, I think that every contract for every toy line, the last paragraph of every single one should have, like, paragraph 49 should be, I don't care if you sell it to Hasbro or Playmates or Mattel or whatever. Paragraph 49 of what everyone should say, and McFarlane Toys gets to do one figure in this line. So that I can do one Transformer, I can do one G.I. Joe, I can do one Star Wars, I can do one Ben 10, I can do one just to say, if I had the license, which you're never going to give me, but this is what it would look like, just to tease people. But that's it. So, they're telling us we got to stop, unfortunately. Let me give you an update on the movie. Right? Just very quickly. I just had a call yesterday with Scott Silver. He's the guy that wrote the Joker 1, Joker 2 coming out. My bet, ladies and gentlemen, I think Joker 2 is going to be the biggest movie of this year. I think it will make more money than any other movie. You come to me and tell me whether you think that's right or wrong. I think possibly the second biggest movie will be Deadpool, which means that the two big movies are going to be R-rated. And that means that Hollywood is going to be looking for R-rated movies. And they're going to be wanting to hire people who make money. And Scott Silver and his writing group will have made, hopefully, another $1 billion for Warner Brothers. Everybody in Hollywood's going to want to do it. And they're going to ask Scott, what else you got? And he's going to hold the Spawn script. He was at the house about 2.5 weeks ago, and just before I went on vacation, he sent me half the script. So I've got half the script already. I've read it. It's coming along. I promise you, it will be like no other superhero movie, and that's intentional. I'm not saying it's better. I'll leave that to you good people. But we're not trying to do Marvel or DC light. We can't. As R-rated, we know we're going to have a lower budget. We can't. We have to try and do something different. And Scott is leading the charge on doing it. And I've read half of it, and it's dramatically different than anything that's been out there. So we will go in to sell that before the Joker movie comes out in October, because Scott goes, too bad we can't wait till after Joker when it opens up and we get a bigger deal. But we'll go before that. So we will go in to sell that late in the summer. So that's when the big news will come on that. And then we've got all of our new comic books. But thanks for coming today. Hope you guys had a good time here in Anaheim. And we'll see you guys soon. We'll see you at San Diego. I think my next convention. Be good, everybody.